Okay, so good day po my fellow taong bayan mga Kasimor. At ngayon po pag-usapan natin yung napaka-interesting pong nangyari kay Senator Bato de la Rosa kahapon May 11, 2026. Kasi nagkaroon po ng habulan sa Senado between him at mga NBI officers. So according to Senator Bato ay pinigilan daw siya mag-attend sa session, tapos yung explanation naman po ng side ng NBI kasama si Senator Trillanes ay ibibigay nila yung allegedly warrant daw po, warrant of arrest from the International Criminal Court. And then because of that very interesting commotion po, ay ang ginawa po ng Senado ay nilagay si Senator Bato under Senate Protective Custody. So ngayon po may mga nagsasabi hindi daw pwede yan yung Senate Protective Custody. So of course, i-explain ko po sa inyo kung meron ba talagang legal basis yung ganyang action ng Senate. And then i-discuss din po natin kung meron bang possible criminal liabilities dito yung NBI, si former Senator Trillanes, and even si former Senate President Tito Soto and the former Sergeant of Arms, kung posible po bang may liability, criminal liability sila because of this interesting commotion po na nangyari kay Senator Bato. And then of course, i-discuss ko na lang din po ang basics ng mga international documents, international warrants of arrest in relation po sa Constitution natin. So this one po I've discussed numerous times, but I think it really needs to be reiterated repeatedly din para mas maintindihan talaga ng taong bayan kung bakit importante talaga dumaan yung mga foreign documents na yan dito sa mga local courts natin before implementation. Okay, so yan po ang discussion natin for today. Start things off po, panoorin muna natin yung actual CCTV footage na pinlay po sa Senate plenary kahapon. Dito ata yung nasugat po si Senator Bato eh. Siya dun. Jogging lang yung, I think NBI po yan eh, nasa may dulo yung kasama nung may blue polo. Hindi po ako sure pero I'm assuming yun po sila. So parang jogging lang. And yung may dalang suitcase, hindi ko rin po sigurado kung staff ba yun ni Senator Bato or part ng NBI. So anyway, yan po yung pinaka-commotion talagang nangyari. And according to Senator Bato dito, he was being prevented daw from attending the session sa plenary. Uy, hindi pa pala tapos. Ito yung final stretch. Yan. So, hindi ko sure kung yan po yung may bag tas yung isa ay staff or mukhang ito po yung mga NBI talaga yung naka-blue kasi meron silang badge kung napansin po ninyo dito. So, most likely po yung ito, yung may bag, yung may suitcase ay kasama pa yun ni Senator. But ayun, pinapasok nga sila. Pero everyone else, yung sinasabi ko pong naka-blue yan, may badge, hindi na pinapasok. Ito pang natumba. Yan po yung very interesting commotion na nangyari kahapon. And then because of that po, ang nangyari next yan ay sinight in contempt yung mga NBI officers na yun ng Senate because of course, the Senate being an institution para sa kanila, may ginawang something offensive po yung NBI kaya sinight sila in contempt. And then ang next po ay dineclare na nga na si Senator Bato is under protective custody po of the Senate kung saan based po sa mga interviews ay nirerespeto naman daw po ni Attorney Matibag of the NBI. In other words, hindi po nila i-implement yung warrant of arrest, yung international, yung alleged warrant of arrest from the ICC during the existence of the Senate Protection Order. So ngayon po, pag-usapan natin yung Senate Protective Order na yan, kung whether or not legal ba talaga yan or gawa-gawa lang ba yan ni Senator Cayetano. So quick break lang po mga Kasimor, gusto ko lang po kasi kayo pasalamatan lahat because we have recently crossed 400,000 subscribers po sa YouTube. Sa mga hindi pa po nag-subscribe pero laging nanonood, hopefully po you can consider subscribing kasi wala naman pong bayad yung subscription sa YouTube ko. 100% free po ang YouTube subscription. Okay, and of course, don't forget also to like this video para po mas bigyan pa kayo ng ganitong content ng mga algorithm sa social media. Okay, so again po, maraming salamat for the support. Ngayon po, tuloy tayo sa discussion. Okay, so ang sagot ko po dyan regarding the Senate protective custody of a sitting senator is legal po yan and constitutional. Okay, kasi tatandaan po natin yung legislative department po or in our constitution po kasi meron tayong three main branches of government, diba? Executive, legislative, and the judiciary. And then some independent constitutional commissions tulad ng Ombudsman, COA, COMELEC, and the Civil Service Commission. Therefore po, since yung legislative body po is an independent body from other government bodies, meron po silang constitutional mandate to perform yung legislative function nila. Diba? So kung sa tingin po ng Senado na yung actions ng ibang branches ng government, which in this case po is yung executive, kasi yung NBI po is under the executive, ay makaapekto dun sa constitutional mandate and duty nila sa legislative function po nila, ay pwede po yan silang mag-issue ng mga ganyan klaseng protective orders or issuances po because that will fall under the inherent power po of self-preservation ng isang government institution. Okay, so stated differently, since yung executive at legislative po magkaiba yan, kung ang action po ng kabilang branch ng government ay makaapekto na dun sa constitutional duty ng legislative, yung sa Senate functions po nila to be specific, kasi gusto po ipa-aresto, di ba, yung isang senador. So in effect, mababawasan po ng isang senador yung Senado, di ba? Therefore, pwede po yan ma-argue na that will affect the constitutional mandate and duty po nila to the Filipino people in relation to their legislative function. So therefore, since maapektuhan yung constitutional mandate nila, ay may karapatan po silang protektahan yung institution nila. Kasi in this case nga po, ang mangyayari ay mababawasan sila ng isang senador via the action of the executive kung saan questionable yung basis para mabawasan sila ng isang senador. Kasi yung pinapakita pa lang po is an international ICC warrant. And then kung yung other government offices po ay hindi sang-ayon or tingin nila may mali sa mga ganung actions ng, like in this case po, yung Senate Protective Order na yun, hindi po pwede mag-insist yung executive na sila naman yung tama. Diba? Kasi again, number one, separation of powers. Number two, inherent powers of self-preservation. So in that situation po, kung tingin ng executive sila talaga yung tama, dapat pumunta sila ngayon sa Supreme Court kasi meron ng legal issue between two government entities, di ba? So of course, ang only way po para ma-determine kung sino sa kanila yung tama is via the power of judicial review po ng Supreme Court. So dito po ngayon, sasabihin ng Supreme Court kung whether or not may grave abuse of discretion ba talaga yung Senate sa pag-issue po ng ganong klaseng protective custody na order. Okay? Pero unless and until may declaration or court order na yung Supreme Court, ang nag-a-apply po ngayon is the presumption of regularity nung action ng Senado. Kasi ganyan po ang presumption sa mga government actions natin. It is always presumed regular para po makatrabaho ng maayos yung government natin at hindi sila mapatigil na lang ng basta-basta sa trabaho nila. Okay, so hopefully klaro po yan. Ngayon po, pag-usapan naman natin kung bakit yung international document, which in this case is yung ICC warrant, ay kailangan pa mag-undergo ng judicial scrutiny via our local courts. And yung applicable po na provision sa issue na yan is mainly Article 3 of Section 2 po ng 1987 Constitution natin. So this is still under the Bill of Rights po natin. Pero before I actually explain the legal technicalities, ito po magbibigay lang ako sa inyo ng mga real world or mga common world scenarios para mas maintindihan nyo po talaga kung bakit importante dumaan sa local judicial scrutiny or process yung mga international documents. Okay, so isipin po ninyo kung meron pong random person na galing abroad tapos pumunta ng Pilipinas, may dala-dala siyang document, tapos biglang ipakita niya sa inyo, sabihin niya, this is an international warrant of arrest, I will arrest you now. Parang ano po yun, di ba? It is very questionable and can really be subjected to abuse by any individual. Kasi at the end of the day, hindi pa nga natin sure kung totoo yung document na yun pero bigla ka na lang aarestoin. Huwag nyo na po isipin kung si Senator Bato yung involved dito. Just look at it in an ordinary person's point of view. Kung kayo po mismo, may random person, biglang dadalhan kayo ng document pupunta sa inyo, magpapasama sa allegedly NBI din daw po, that will really lead to a situation that can easily be abused. Kasi at the end of the day, since hindi pa nga po na-verify yung mga documents na yan, wala pa po yung legal effect talaga sa bansa natin. That is simply a mere scrap of paper po. Kasi only local courts po natin ang may power to issue a warrant of arrest dito. So kung makita po ninyo, Article 3, Bill of Rights, Section 2, no search warrant or warrant of arrest shall issue except upon probable cause to be determined personally by the judge after examination, so on and so forth. So in the very section 2 of the article 3 natin, kailangan po talaga personally i-determine ng judge bago magkaroon ng mga warrants of arrest. Therefore po, yung alleged ICC warrant of arrest na yun, kailangan pa yun personally reviewin at examine ng judge para mag-issue siya ng counterpart or ng equivalent nun dito sa atin para ma-implement na yun siya. 'Di ba? So ganyan po ang proper procedure. And then ang gusto ko lang din po idagdag dito kasi may mga nakikita akong legal explanation na nagsasabi na since ang ICC daw is also a court, tapos ang sabi naman daw dito sa section 2, personally by the judge lang, hindi naman sinabi personally by a local judge. Therefore, since judges din daw po yung nasa ICC, ay na-examine na yon at pwede na daw agad basta-basta i-implement sa atin yun. Okay, so ang maging counter ko lang po sa ganung explanation is we have to remember ang pinaka-purpose po nitong Article 3, the Bill of Rights, kung bakit to siya nilagay sa Constitution natin, is not to protect against the actions from international courts, kundi to protect us from abuses ng mga local officers po natin sa Pilipinas. In simple terms, since protection to natin against local abuse ng mga government officials po natin, itong term na judge dito, automatically correlates po yan to a local judge. Hindi po yan judge na porket walang sinabi na local, pwede mo lang sabihin na international yan. Because again, the very essence of the Bill of Rights is meant to protect us from local actions po. Therefore, local judge po yung dapat mag-examine yan before pwede maglabas ng warrant of arrest based on an international. Hindi po sufficient yung pag-examine dun sa International Criminal Court kasi the term judge here, like what I've explained, is meant for local judges po yan. So ito po, bigyan ko kayo ng example. This is an extreme example po para mag-gets nyo lang kung gaano ka-unreasonable yung ganong legal position. So dito, like sa section 1, ang sabi, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So since wala pong sinabi no due process of local law, does this mean international law will also apply? So medyo ganun po ba yung situation? Lahat na lang pala pwede natin dagdagan kasi walang specific na nilagay since general term. Parang ganun po kasi yung nangyayari. But again, if you just follow basic principles of statutory construction, the very spirit and essence of the Bill of Rights, then the provisions po in the general terms in these laws will refer to local matters po natin. May it be local laws, institutions. Yan po yung magiging general rule niyan. At kung mag-insist po talaga sila na international judge yung nire-refer dito sa section 2, then that is their burden. Kasi kung ako po ang tatanungin yung general rule, this is a local judge following basic principles of statutory construction and the very spirit and essence po ng Bill of Rights. Okay, so ngayon po ang next question na lang, ano ba yung status talaga ng ICC warrant ni Senator Bato? So like what I've stated already, that is a mere scrap of paper po kung ako ang tatanungin ninyo kasi hindi pa po yan nag-undergo ng local judicial scrutiny. Unless and until may court order po na nagsabi na pwede na i-implement yung ICC warrant na yun or naglabas ng equivalent na warrant to implement that international warrant, dun lang po yan pwede ma-enforce and execute dito. And if you want to know more about this, I've explained this actually yung sa RA 9851, yung section 17, kasi wala rin pong guidelines na linagay doon regarding yung proper surrender. And then in relation to the new extradition rules, diba, very specific po yung binigay na guidelines so ng Supreme Court na kailangan mag-apply ka talaga sa extradition court via the RTC po dito sa bansa natin. Okay, so ilalagay ko na po sa link yung video na yun para mas mapanood ninyo. Ngayon po, punta naman tayo sa next question natin kung ano ba yung possible liabilities dito ng NBI officers ni Senator Trillanes and maybe even po si former Senate President Tito Sotto and the former Sergeant of Arms. Pinaka-possible pong criminal liability in that situation po yung nangyari kay Senator Bato is a violation po of Article 145 of the Revised Penal Code po natin, which is violation of parliamentary immunity. So in this provision po, yung pinaka-criminal act talaga is to prevent any member of either house from attending the meetings thereof, from expressing his opinions or casting his vote. Eh diba, according to Senator Bato, yung allegations po niya ay pinipigilan daw siya from attending yung Senate session nila kahapon. So pag ganun po, papasok yan dito sa pag-prevent sa pag-attend sa meeting and from casting his vote kasi nagkaroon po ng botohan, diba, dun sa Senate. And of course, from expressing his opinions kasi nagsalita-salita rin po siya dun sa plenary. So ito yung immediate na tingin kong possible criminal act na nangyari po kahapon na ginawa po ng NBI officers. So ngayon ang next question, possible ba madamay dito si Senator Trillanes and si former SP Soto and the former Sergeant at Arms? Considering dun sa pinlay ko pong CCTV footage, wala naman po sila dun, di ba? Yung pinakita lang ay yung mga NBI officers. Possible din po magkaroon sila ng liability kung ma-establish na meron pong conspiracy between them to commit a violation of Article 145. So when you say conspiracy po, it means nagkasundo sila, gagawin nila yung krimen na to. In other words, meron pong nagplano and then meron nagbigay ng mga instructions tapos yung NBI lang yung nag-implement. So pag mapakita po yun na may concerted efforts, pagtulungan nga between them, ay possible po silang magka-liability because papasok na dun ngayon yung conspiracy to commit a violation of parliamentary immunity. Okay, but again, i-reiterate ko lang po, possible lang tong latter part ng discussion pag ma-establish talaga yung conspiracy. Kung hindi po ma-establish yun, yung klaro pa lang may posibleng liability talaga ay yung mga NBI officers na nakita po doon sa CCTV footage kanina. Okay, so yan lang po ang masasabi ko as to this issue. Hopefully klaro po yan. If you like more legal videos and current events, subscribe lang po kayo sa channel ko. And until next time, see you all po. Bye-bye!